Hello, and welcome to another episode of the original podcast, in which I'm going to completely trash the new Spider-Man because I didn't like it. Why? Because although the Tom Holland is really nice, the whole story is just childish, let's say. First of all, I hate, and I really do, the trick that these franchises make, which is to show a trailer which is really interesting, and they know how to make an interesting trailer, uh, where they put scenes from the very start of the movie, which are spectacular, but they tell you nothing about, almost nothing about the context and the quality of the rest of the movie. So, nice acting, Tom Holland, but story-wise, what are you doing? What are you trying to create? I mean, you are making Spider-Man, you want to make Spider-Man human and an adult. Okay. You want to throw MJ out of the picture. Okay. But who are the villains here? I mean, you start with Scorpion, which is supposed to be one of the main and the great villain opponent of Spider-Man, and you throw him out in, let's say, 30 seconds. You have only to fight scenes, you explain nothing. You start in a cartoon-like manner, which is very childish. And you present other bad guys. You present Jean Grey as an all-around influencer that hates Spider-Man. Why? Really, the storyline connected to the villains makes no sense. Why would you want to bring X-Men into this franchise? Because you want to set up other movies later. What's the point of having a standalone film? You are completely imbeciles when it comes to storytelling. Completely. The other movies were much better, honestly, and the one where he saves the cat out of the tree was probably the most original scene in the whole Spider-Man franchise. If you want to humanize him, that's how you do it. If you want to humanize him, when he finds out that his love is having an affair and he doesn't remember, she doesn't remember him, throw her out. What the fuck, you're a superhero. I don't think you'll have a lack of women. Don't you have self-confidence in you? What happened? She took it all because she was smart. Instead, if you were so, let's say, connected to the woman in such a way as they try to portray in the previous franchises, that you can't make up your own mind and you need their help, your friends' help, being a superhero, you need non-superhero help. Why? Because they have ideas. Anyone can have these ideas. And they want to share. What the fuck? Why would you give them a share? And they took, if you want to go back, they are the ones who took responsibility for your subsequent behavior, who have responsibility for your subsequent behavior, because they were involved in your affairs. And you want them out of the picture, and you don't respect their decision. They got involved. They have to suffer the consequences. I mean, you can make a movie where they suffer the consequences of their own involvement, trying to interfere in a superhero's life, because that's a really, really, really bad idea. I mean, you want credit, but you won't take the blame when it comes to you. What kind of person are you? And now that they suffer the blame, the effects of their own behavior, you want to make him regret, instead of having him realize that, okay, what's done is done. It was his mistake. The premise that he took the choice away from them when he didn't ask anything. That was a very asshole thing to do, but he did it to everyone. So this makes him a huge asshole, and he should have known by now that a huge asshole who kept his Spider-Man persona, because he's an asshole, he kept the Spider-Man persona, and he lost Peter Parker persona to protect the people he loved. That's how he chose to protect the people he loved. Okay, by keeping the bad side of his personality, the side that caused pain and distraction to the people around him. What's going to happen, Spider-Man? Are you not going to have other people around you? And why are you trying to find the same people? I mean, he could have grown up in so many different ways, but let's accept growing up understanding that the woman left you. No shit. No shit. She did. Fine. And you have another psychopath, and you make friends with a psychopath. That's your life now, making friends with psychopaths. And you fall in love with a worst psychopath, Jean Grey, or you are supposed to have a connection with Jean Grey. A lunatic, an insane person. So the action scenes, if you take the action scene, because the story makes little to no sense, they could have chosen many different paths for the story to follow. And let's take the action scene. What the fuck? You fight the Hand, ninjas. In which episode, where did you find them in the first place? Unexplained phenomena in the superhero's life. The Hand, what the fuck? How were you involved in the Hand? We don't need to know, but why? And they run around wearing ninja clothes. That's how the Hand operates, obviously. That's ridiculous. And having an agency that you cannot trust, that you trust but you cannot trust, okay, that's a commonplace situation. And then you director that you cannot trust. Okay, not original. And then you have the fight with Hulk. Why the fuck do you have a fight with Hulk and you win? You find a way to win. Unjustified way to win, in my opinion. Because Hulk can fly and Spider-Man can shoot webs. Anyway, that was short and not well prepared, that fight. All the fights were not well thought out. If you had a gamer run the fights for you from PlayStation, they would have done a much better job. A simple gamer, an average gamer, he knows what they want to see. No, you don't listen to the people, because you have your own idea of what constitutes a great fight, a great superhero fight, and a great superhero story. No, you weren't trying to make a great superhero story. You were not trying to, you were trying to make your own story. Because in your own mind and conception, you have the comic book conception of the story. That works for comic books, you idiots. It doesn't work for movies. Unless you make a movie like a comic book, you don't pick and choose the style. I want to start a movie like a comic book and then have a drama sequence and then have a funny sequence and that's a mess. Okay, so my warning goes out to you that this movie is below average, and they could have done so many. The story of Peter Parker growing up and becoming a person of himself, it could have touched a lot of different people if it was more human and more realistic. Get rid of MJ, get rid of his friend, have them killed for no reason, because he's an asshole. Spider-Man behaved like an asshole, and he's still trying to find them because he has regrets. Have him pay for his regrets. If you want a resonance, if you want a drama, have him cry the whole movie. Make it just a drama. Spider-Man meltdown, breakdown. Every hero would have and should have a mental breakdown. Do you have any conception? Do you even realize the amount of effort that someone needs to become comfortable with himself in the role of helping others in this way, through violence basically, but let's say helping others. They decided that violence is helping others. In the superhero code, if you beat the shit out of an enemy, then you are the hero and they are the villain. That's the superhero code, because they commit crimes. What the fuck? You need an obvious villain in order to become a hero, but my friend, that's not how heroes are made. The real fight is for someone to become a hero is understanding the distinction that humans behave like assholes throughout their lives, not just when they commit crimes. That's the end of a huge sequence of events. And that should have been the least of your worry, whether they rob a bank or not. Who are you trying to protect? The money that are insured? Even if you wanted, anyway, you could run in many, many different directions with the superhero concept. Much better ones. Hugely, hugely better ones. Anyway, so my advice is wait a couple of years until it comes free on a movie set and watch it then. That's it.